Welcome to the day 9 of the 100-day digital marketing course. Today we are going to have a discussion with Sandhya about the way forward and a recap of what we have learned so far. So hey Sandhya, welcome to the video.
Thank you, Deepak.
So Sandhya, today we are going to just have a recap of what we have learned so far.
Yeah, I think we need that because it was a little technical and I wanted a recap of it in a simpler way. Okay. And also I think a lot of people are requesting the same in the comment section as well.
So people said domain names, hosting, DNS, it's all very confusing for them. And I would say that for the initial days when you are trying to set up everything, certain things might be a little bit confusing, but the idea is to set up websites, blogs and communication channels. And I want digital marketers to focus not on the technical part, but on the communication part.
Okay.
Because end of the day, whatever technology that we are using, it is just a way for us to communicate with other people.
Right.
Like for example, when initially we had normal landline phone, it was pretty simple to use. We would just dial a number and then call people. And while dialing a number, we might not even have the phone store our contact details. It would be basically in an address book. We will look at the number and dial it.
Yes.
Now we have smartphones, which is obviously a little bit more complex than a landline phone. It has more features. It's also difficult to understand initially when you started using smartphones, but now you are very comfortable with smartphones, right? So that way, as a digital marketer, all these things are like very, very basic. And you need not know what is the underlying technology that is powering it. You just need to know how to use it.
Okay.
Like for example, we use lights. We don't know how exactly the light functions. Yes, we have a little bit of an idea about how a tungsten filament lamp will function. But you have this bulb and you have a filament inside and then there is vacuum inside. I mean, 6th, 7th standard mein I think physics mein padha hai.
मैंने नहीं पढ़ा है शायद.
Okay.
I think all I can see is when I see a bulb glow and I hold it like close by and I see the filaments and all glow, it feels like there's some glow in my brain as well.
Okay. So now you have LED lamps, like for example, this office is lit by LED lamps. And I don't know exactly how an LED lamp works, but we don't mind, we just use it. So similarly, when it comes to domain names, DNS and all those things, you don't need to like break your head too much about it.
Okay.
One thing that you have to remember is that you need domain names, and domain names are the foundation of your digital assets. Right? Because domain names are unique and you need to make sure that you renew the domain name and not lose the domain name. So whichever domain registrar you are having the domain at, sometimes it's a good idea to make sure that you are renewing it for 2 to 3 years in advance.
Okay.
So that you don't forget renewing it.
Okay, so how many domain names do you have? Because I remember seeing a sheet where you have like a list of domain names that you own.
I have more than 50 domain names.
Okay.
Because I have always felt like domain names, especially .com domain names, are extremely scarce. So two-word .com domain names I have acquired a lot. So obviously we have learntoday.com and pixeltrack.com. Both were purchased as premium domain names, and that's the name of the companies itself.
So 50 domain names, how do you even like remember when to renew it and all that?
So I just make sure that right now it is 2023. There is no expiration happening for any of the domain names in 2023.
Okay.
It's all in 2024. And by end of this year in December, I will renew all the domain names in such a way that their expiry date is only in 2025. For an entire year, there is no expiration.
Okay.
So every year I renew all the domain names. आगे पीछे होता है. Some domain names might expire on February, some domain names might expire on September, October types, but I don't mind. I just renew all the domain names for an entire year, December of every year.
Okay.
So that is a very safe way to keep all your domain names. So
and what happens if a domain name gets expired? Say for example, I forget to renew it, and for say 10 days I forget. What happens? 10 days, okay, there have been some reminder emails, but I miss it because say I'm traveling or something. What happens after 10 days? Do I just lose the ownership of it, or?
So usually what most of the domain registrars like Namecheap, name.com, what they do is that they give you a grace period and on your behalf, they will hold the domain name for you.
Oh.
So if you have forgot to renew the domain name, you will still have like a 1 month grace period where you have to pay some extra fee and get it renewed. Until then, the domain name is with the ownership of the registrar itself. But after that, if the domain name is still expiring, and you don't renew, they will send you multiple reminders, email, SMS, whatever channels of communication they have. And then they will say that, hey, renew it now or you will lose the domain name. And if the domain name is not like a premium domain name and you just registered it and you forgot to renew it, eventually they will also let it expire. And the domain name will come back to the market for anyone else to register that domain name.
Oh.
So when you look at this particular website, GoDaddy expired domain name auction, there are multiple websites like that which list domain names which are about to expire. And you can see all the expiring domain names, the amount of bids or offers they are, and what is the time left for it. Like for example, ck345.com, somebody probably registered it for some project and they are letting it expire. So in 11 hours, this particular domain name is expiring. And you can just go ahead and have a look at, all these domain names which are expiring right now within the next 24 hours.
Do you get them to buy at cheap or something, or is it
No,
based
it's
on the
not
bids?
necessarily cheap. There is a price listed here also. And sometimes if it is a premium domain name, like for example, nameiq.com looks like a premium name. It is expiring. The owner is not renewing it. But GoDaddy is selling it for 86,000 rupees and it says estimated value is 1 lakh. 38,000. API Monitor looks like a good name. Book Forward. So you will have a lot of domain names like that expiring all the time. I usually don't pay much attention to expiring domain names because it's not of much value generally. And if somebody really likes a domain name and it's a very good name, they would obviously renew it, right? And you have a lot of aftermarket places where you can buy domain names. I will show you some of them. So if you go to Zoho.com, so Zoho.com is where you can, purchase premium domain names. And here you will get like really premium names. Some of them are like showcased and small, short names and all you will get. This is where people transact for millions of dollars. And you also have other marketplaces like, let's say hugedomains.com. And then you have branded domain names like brandbucket.com. You have Brand Force. So all these are companies who are selling you premium domain names at a very high price. Okay. Like for example, when you look at brandforce.com, mycar.com is available for sale. But this particular domain name will be at least $1 million is what I would say. Because it's a car market is a very big market, right?
Yeah.
So you have fe.com, fate.com, homedecor.com. So very, very authoritative names. I inquired for bloom.com. I asked them what is the price for bloom.com. They said $20 million.
Oh my God.
So that's more like 160, 170 crores.
Okay.
So that is how much domain name values can go up.
I think there should also be a session where, you can teach us how do you negotiate, buying a domain name.
Yeah.
Say I hold something like sandhyadeepak.com and you want to buy it. How would you bargain with me?
Yeah.
If I quote it high, how do you bring it down? Or how do you say that, hey, this is not fair?
Yeah, we could do a negotiation session and mock negotiation role play as well.
Yeah.
So another famous website for premium domain names is brandbucket.com. And Zomato was bought from Brandbucket.
Oh.
And they built a $1 billion brand around that name. So Brandbucket has a lot of catchy names. Like for example, if you go by industry and if you go to education and training, and if somebody wants to start an edtech company, Brandbucket gives you a logo also. In most of the cases, people will not use the logo. They will do a separate logo, but they just add a logo also just to add value to the .com domain name.
Yeah.
And here, for example, mentoring magic, $3,000 here. Add university, funnoodle.com. So pridemark.com, fortune happy. So these are like a little bit of name plays, not very keyword specific domain names, but if somebody wants to build a startup company and they want a good name for it and they want the .com of it, they can go and buy it on brandbucket.com. I have bought a bunch of domain names on Brandbucket and I have also sold a bunch of domain names on Brandbucket. For example, I have this brandable domain name nowfit.com.
Okay.
And nowfit.com I have listed on Brandbucket for sale for $10,000. And I bought it as a premium name. For around $5,000. So if somebody wants to build a fitness company and they want to call it NowFit, then they could buy this name. Or I might start a fitness company.
How
in
many
the future.
years ago did you buy this for $5,000?
I bought this around 5 years back.
Oh, okay.
But I bought it as a premium name itself. So if you go ahead and look at nowfit.com, when it was registered, you can look at the Whois database, and it was registered in 2002.
So domain names value also goes up as if it's a real estate place, right?
Exactly. So now it's a 21-year-old domain name. And if you have to look at, let's say, learntoday.com, you can see LearnToday was also registered in 2002. And let's look at hiretoday.com. It was registered in 2000.
You
even
own all these today.coms?
Yeah. So I have Learn Today, Hire Today, and a few more today.com domain names.
Apply Today.
Yeah.
India Today.
India Today I don't have. And I don't want as well.
Yeah, it's a news channel.
Yeah. So let them do what they are doing. I am into the edtech space, so no conflict of interest. So domain names can, be so much valuable. You can also search for top domain name sales in history and top 25 most expensive domain names. So let's just have a look at this. Carinsurance.com was sold for 49 million. Insurance.com was for 35 million.
Oh my God. So one fine morning, if somebody comes and says that, hey, I want to buy your domain name, and say I'm just doing a job and somebody offers me $5 million, I'll be like rich overnight.
Yeah. But usually oneword.coms are the ones which sell for, millions of dollars. I don't have any oneword.com. I used to have wealthy.in. So as a .in domain name, I had...
Hey, but wealthy.in is a startup in Bangalore, right?
The founder of wealthy.in bought the domain name from me.
Oh.
Back in around 2013 or 2014. So if you go and look at the historical Whois records, somewhere my name will be there on wealthy.in as an ownership. Yeah.
Nice.
So we sat across a table in Starbucks and he paid me the money and I transferred him the domain name. So I sold it because I'm not a very big fan of .in domain names. I'm a fan of .com domain names and I didn't know what I will do on wealthy.in. So I just gave the domain name, but I'm proud of it. They have built a nice multi-million-dollar startup out of this.
Wow.
So here you can see all these .coms. V.com, I think that is owned by WeWork, 8 million. FB.com, 8.5 million. Sex.com, 13 million. Some people say it's 14 million. So there is a star here. Recently, AI.com was bought by ChatGPT for $11 million.
Wow. Okay.
And Tesla also had TeslaMotors.com. They wanted to buy Tesla.com and they had to follow up with the owner for a long time. And I heard that they eventually settled $2 to $3 million to the Tesla.com owner to buy the Tesla.com domain name.
Wow. Okay.
So if somebody decides not to sell their domain name, there is no way to acquire it. And also there are trademark issues. Like for example, if you look at the digital Deepak word, so if you go to name.com and let's say we search for digital Deepak, and there are a lot of extensions still available. digitaldeepak.io is available. digitaldeepak.info is available. And if somebody has registered this domain name after I got my trademark rights, then it is considered that they have registered the domain name in bad faith to impact my brand, which means that I can go to a particular legal solution. It's not like typical court and typical judge, but there is a center where they make all these decisions. So you cannot register anything with the name Amazon. Like for example, I cannot register amazondeepak.com or anything like that. Amazon will take away the domain name because Amazon already has a brand which is registered trademark. So that is why I applied for Digital Deepak registered trademark and I got it registered. So nobody can do business in the name of Digital Deepak.
Imagine if this constraint was there on Instagram. A lot of hi Deepaks, hi whatever would just get banned overnight.
Yes. So this is a little bit about domain names, and it doesn't matter where you host your domain name and whatever we are talking about, DNS, name servers, A records, MX records. It's all to connect the domain name to the particular service.
Okay.
Right. So what I could do is that maybe in the next video, we will do like a flowchart on an iPad and we will draw out all the different sections of the entire thing.
Yeah.
And I will explain it, and I will also give the recording to our audience so that we can have a look at it. But you might want to think about what is the exact confusion that you have. Maybe watch the videos again. Rather than saying that, hey, I'm confused about all this, I don't know, you explain me again. You tell me which area you are confused at. Like, for example, let's say DNS. You could come up with a bunch of questions like, hey, why do we have text records, MX records? Why do we have these records? Why do we have Cloudflare DNS? What do we use Cloudflare DNS for? Why can't we use this? So if you come up with maybe 5 to 10 specific questions, we can do like an Ask Me Anything session.
Yeah, and I think we'll pick questions from the comment section as well.
Yeah.
All the comments that come for this video, which are doubts related to this video, we can maybe answer in the next video.
Yes, we could do that.
Yeah.
So guys, if you are watching this video right now, then go ahead and leave all your questions in the comments below, and we will answer it in the next video.
I will also ask you questions in the comment section.
Yes. So just taking a look at Cloudflare again. I'm like really becoming a fan of Cloudflare. Okay. Now a lot of my sites are moving to Cloudflare, including Digital Deepak. So they have built like a pretty good framework for especially the DNS related services, and Cloudflare is also providing domain name registration services nowadays. So it's optional for people whether they want to register the domain name at Cloudflare or not. But I would recommend Namecheap.com or GoDaddy.com. And just recapping what we have done so far. Step 1, you go ahead and buy your domain name in Namecheap.com, Name.com or GoDaddy.com.
Okay.
And you keep the domain name there.
Yes.
Now the domain name has an option to update name servers in it. And then there is something called the DNS, which is domain name system, right? So there are companies like GoDaddy, Namecheap and Name.com, which provide their own DNS solution, in which case the name server of the domain name will be of that particular company. For example, if you are going for Name.com, Name.com's default name servers will be something like ns1.name.com, ns2.name.com, something like that. If you are going ahead and registering at GoDaddy, it will be GoDaddy's own name servers. So when the domain name registrar itself is providing the DNS solutions for you, you have to update their own DNS name servers into it. And there will usually be an option inside the dashboard that make it as default name servers. But I don't particularly prefer that. What I prefer is to get Cloudflare, which is free. So if anybody has a confusion of what we should choose, I would just say go with Cloudflare, because digitaldeepak.com is on Cloudflare. So you sign up for a Cloudflare account, you put your domain name, and Cloudflare is going to give you 2 name servers. You go and update these name servers in your domain name, and then you don't need to change it. Whatever configuration changes that you have to make, you can do it on Cloudflare directly. So now you have registered the domain name, signed up for Cloudflare, added the domain name in Cloudflare. Cloudflare is giving you 2 name servers. That name servers, you are updating it in the domain name.
Yes.
And now you can configure your DNS in Cloudflare with whatever you want. So you have a separate configuration for websites, subdomains, email. For all this, you have separate configurations which you can do at Cloudflare, which is something that we will run over again by showing you how to update MX records, how to update A records. All that we will do once more, because that is where people seem to have the maximum confusion at.
Right.
And we will also register for a new professional email. So last time we looked at how to register for Google Workspace emails.
Yeah.
We will also do one registration for Zoho email, because Zoho is one good option. So if you go for Zoho email.
For professional emails.
For professional email. So the cost of Zoho email is half that of Google Workspace.
Okay. And
Zoho also has Zoho Docs and a bunch of solutions just like Google. But Zoho emails are like, pretty good. If somebody just wants a professional email and does not want to pay 1,500 rupees to Google per year for that Google Workspace account, they can go for Zoho, and it starts with 58 rupees a month, which means that you will pay around like 600 to 700 rupees per year is what you will pay.
It's almost like half of your mobile recharge.
Yeah. And they give you 5 GB. Google gives you like 15 GB, I guess. Or maybe it's 30 GB now. I don't remember exactly. But Zoho will only give you 5 GB. So we'll also set up a Zoho mail. And Zoho will give you MX records, which you have to update on your Cloudflare.
Okay.
So Cloudflare is something that I will go over again along with Zoho mail in the future videos. But what you need to kind of consolidate on in terms of learning right now is that you have name.com, namecheap.com, godaddy.com as places where you can register your domain name. So register your domain name here. Go to Cloudflare, sign up for an account, add the domain name there. Cloudflare will give you 2 name servers. Update that name servers back into your domain name.
Okay.
So this much is clear, right? There is no confusion here.
This is very clear.
So what we have to do next is basically do DNS configuration inside Cloudflare. So that is the only thing pending, which we will go like one more round because I want people to be like really, really clear about this, because tomorrow if you are expanding your business, you have multiple websites, multiple domain names, multiple email IDs, you need to
or if you are doing this
framework
for a client, building a client's domain name and everything, your basics should be strong, because what if there is a problem and the client comes back to you?
Exactly, has happened. So what happened was that one of the clients we have, somebody edited their MX records and their email stopped coming. And they had no idea why the emails are not working. And I said that it is probably because of your DNS configuration error. The MX records are not properly configured. Somebody might have changed it. So I just got their domain name login, went into their DNS, put the correct MX records, and the email started working. And they were like, hey, this is magic. How did you do it?
Nice.
So as a freelancer, especially offering digital marketing services, content marketing services, or whatever it is, you need to learn how to set up new domain names, new landing pages, configure email accounts. All this is like very important. So that is why I'm taking like enough time to go over this, because
and set the foundation right.
Yeah. Post 10 videos, we will not discuss about this again. So this is the 9th video. So I hope it has become clearer in this video.
Yes.
And in the next video, we'll just do DNS one more time. And then from the 11th video, we should actually get started doing the activities which will make you money. Otherwise you will lose motivation. Right. And the audience who is watching this will also lose motivation, because what is the purpose of learning all this digital marketing? It is to end up making money, right? So we will look at how you can monetize your online presence and your expertise using freelancing, coaching, mentoring, and n number of other ways. So yeah, that's about it. So any other thoughts, Sandhya?
I think today was much more clearer than the last 2 videos. The last 2 was, maybe it was overwhelming because it was all new for me. Now that I hear it again and again as a recap, it has become clearer. And it's just like learning or switching from Android to iPhone and learning a new technology.
Yeah, exactly.
So it gets easier.
So that is why I did not show much of the screen today, because showing the screen and all the technical stuff might become overwhelming.
Yes.
I kept it more theoretical and foundational. But when I just say that, you can kind of visualize it in your mind. Okay, you have domain names, then you have Cloudflare, you have name servers, everything else we will figure out later.
Right. Once you show me the website, it becomes overwhelming. But because I have seen those websites and how you have worked on it, I can kind of make a clear mind map today when you are saying all that, and relate back to the last 2 sessions, and it's much more clearer now.
Got it. All right, Sadhya, I will see you in the next lesson then.
All right.
Guys, remember to put all your questions in the comments below, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.